Behind Rainbow Spotlight tonight, we unveil the hidden reality of LGBT+ life within prison walls. Behind these concrete barriers, individuals face challenges that most of us can't imagine. Picture sharing a confined space where your identity becomes both a target and a burden. Every day brings a complex dance of survival, from navigating shower times to carefully choosing allies. While mainstream media often portrays prison life through a generic lens, Rainbow Spotlight brings you the raw, unfiltered truth of LGBT+ inmates' experiences. From openly gay icons like George Michael to Oscar Wilde's Victorian-era persecution, history shows us how incarceration uniquely impacts our community. Even today, in allegedly more progressive times, transgender inmates struggle with proper housing assignments, while gay and bisexual individuals face heightened risks of harassment and violence. Yet within these harsh conditions, stories of resilience emerge. Through support groups, understanding staff members, and their own inner strength, many LGBT+ inmates find ways to maintain their dignity and identity, proving that the human spirit can endure even in the most challenging circumstances. Join us at Rainbow Spotlight as we shine a light on these powerful stories of survival and strength. Number 1. Kevin Spacy, an award-winning actor known for his brilliant performances, faced a complex personal and professional crisis that revealed deeper challenges within the entertainment industry. In 2017, as the Me Too movement gained momentum, Spacy chose to come out as gay, amid serious allegations of inappropriate behavior. The controversy followed him to county jail, where his experience highlighted the unique challenges LGBT+ inmates face. Within the confines of concrete walls and iron bars, his celebrity status offered little protection. Fellow inmates often treated him with a mix of curiosity and contempt, some seeking autographs while others hurled homophobic slurs. In the restricted space of a cell block, Spacy reportedly kept to himself, spending hours reading scripts and writing in his journal. The once commanding presence that dominated both stage and screen was reduced to carefully navigating the complex social hierarchies of prison life. He had to be constantly aware of his surroundings, as his high-profile case and sexual orientation made him a potential target. During mealtimes in the communal dining area, he would often sit alone or with a small group of protective inmates. The whispers and stares followed him everywhere, a stark contrast to the admiring gazes he once received on red carpets. Some guards, recognizing his former status, maintained professional distance, while others seemed to take satisfaction in his fall from grace. His coming-out story, unfortunately intertwined with controversy, highlighted the complicated dynamics LGBT+ individuals face in Hollywood. Some criticized the timing of his announcement, seeing it as an attempt to deflect from the allegations. Others pointed out how this situation reinforced harmful stereotypes that the LGBT+ community has long fought against. In prison environments, allegations of misconduct can make LGBT+ individuals particularly vulnerable to prejudice and discrimination. The stigma often extends beyond the individual to affect perceptions of the entire community. Every day brought new challenges, from navigating shower times to avoiding confrontations in the yard. Like many LGBT+ inmates, he had to develop strategies for survival, carefully choosing when to speak and when to remain silent. This period of confinement stripped away the glamour and privilege of his previous life, exposing him to the raw realities that many LGBT+ inmates face. Whether in protective custody or general population, the experience demonstrated how sexual orientation can compound the already challenging conditions of incarceration. Number 2. While Spacy's time in custody stemmed from serious allegations, Sam Smith's brush with law enforcement during the COVID-19 pandemic illustrated how even minor infractions can expose the justice system's struggles with gender identity. Sam Smith, the Grammy-winning artist known for their powerful vocals and candid openness about gender identity, faced public scrutiny during the COVID-19 pandemic. In 2020, Smith's encounter with law enforcement over lockdown violations revealed the unique challenges faced by non-binary individuals in the criminal justice system. During their brief detention for hosting a gathering that violated pandemic restrictions, Smith experienced the rigid gender binary system prevalent in law enforcement procedures. The booking process immediately presented complications. From gender markers on forms to physical search protocols, the system wasn't designed to accommodate non-binary individuals. In the holding cell, Smith confronted the stark realities many gender non-conforming people face in custody. The traditional segregation of inmates by binary gender created immediate questions about placement and safety. Though their stay was brief, it highlighted how even short encounters with law enforcement can be particularly stressful for non-binary individuals. Officers struggled with pronoun usage and proper documentation, some reverting to assumptions based on physical appearance. This microaggression, though perhaps unintentional, exemplified the systemic challenges non-binary people face in legal settings. Smith later shared how this experience, though relatively minor compared to other struggles, opened their eyes to the urgent need for reform in how the justice system handles gender identity. The incident sparked important conversations about adapting law enforcement procedures for non-binary individuals. Though Smith faced minimal legal consequences for the COVID violation, their experience shed light on a larger issue: the criminal justice system's lack of preparedness in respectfully handling gender-diverse individuals. After their release, Smith used their platform to advocate for better understanding and accommodation of non-binary people in all aspects of society, including law enforcement. Their story exemplifies how even brief encounters with the justice system can expose deeper institutional barriers facing the gender non-conforming community. Number 3. Though Smith's encounter with law enforcement was brief, another entertainment icon, Michelle Rodriguez of Fast and Furious fame, would face her own challenges as a bisexual woman in the criminal justice system. Michelle Rodriguez, known worldwide for her role as Letty Ortiz in the high-octane Fast and Furious franchise, had her own intense off-screen encounter with the law. Her brushes with law enforcement, including a 2002 arrest, revealed the challenges LGBT+ individuals face in the criminal justice system. Inside the county jail, Rodriguez's tough girl persona from the Fast films offered little comfort. The actress, who has been open about her bisexuality, found herself navigating a system that often misunderstands and mistreats LGBT+ inmates. Just as her character Letty expertly maneuvers through high-speed chases, Rodriguez had to carefully navigate the complex social dynamics of incarceration. The stark contrast between her Hollywood life and jail reality was striking. Instead of the luxurious cars and adrenaline-pumping stunts of the Fast franchise, she faced cold concrete walls and strict routines. Her cell was a far cry from movie sets, and the prison jumpsuit replaced her character's signature leather jackets. Fellow inmates recognized her from the films, creating a complicated dynamic where her celebrity status sometimes attracted unwanted attention. During her brief incarceration, Rodriguez witnessed firsthand how LGBT+ inmates often face additional layers of discrimination. The same strength and resilience she portrays on screen as Letty became essential survival tools behind bars. Like her character, who never backs down from a fight, Rodriguez stood firm in her identity despite the pressures to conform. Upon release, she brought attention to the treatment of LGBT+ individuals in the justice system. Her experience, though brief, highlighted how even celebrity status doesn't shield one from the systemic challenges faced by LGBT+ inmates. Just as the Fast and Furious franchise emphasizes family and loyalty, Rodriguez emerged with a stronger commitment to supporting her LGBT+ community. Number 4. George Michael, a music icon and one of the world's most prominent openly gay figures, faced pressures both from fame and from living in a prejudiced society. His 2010 arrest for substance possession revealed more than just a celebrity's downfall. It exposed the invisible pressures faced by LGBT+ individuals in a world not ready to accept them. Michael's substance use wasn't simply about pleasure. It stemmed from deep pain and the pressure of concealing his identity during his early career. Rising to pop stardom in the 1980s, when homosexuality faced severe stigma, George lived behind a perfect facade. He described feeling like a prisoner in his own life, trapped by public expectations. These destructive habits became his escape from loneliness and pressure, ultimately leading to his downfall. In prison, Michael faced both physical isolation and intense discrimination. In an environment where difference was seen as weakness, his openly gay status made him a target for both verbal and physical attacks. Cruel slurs and hatred echoed through cell blocks, forcing him to question if he deserved such treatment simply for loving men. He often isolated himself in corners of his cell to avoid hostile glares. Yet even in darkness, Michael found small lights of hope. He began journaling, confronting complex emotions and rediscovering himself. In scribbled pages, he dreamed of a fairer world where people like him wouldn't face discrimination. Music became his solace. When possible, he would sing, not just for himself, but to bring peace to fellow inmates. Once his performance of Freedom 90, symbolic of his own journey, earned respectful silence from prisoners, showing music's power to transcend barriers. George also found strength in other inmates, particularly those who quietly supported him. A young gay prisoner once told him, "You're the reason I dare to be myself." This made George realize he could inspire others even in darkest times. He began connecting more with LGBT+ inmates, sharing experiences and understanding his role in fighting for community rights. After release, Michael openly shared his dark experiences. He spoke candidly about challenges, not to justify past mistakes, but to highlight LGBT+ discrimination in prisons. He advocated for greater attention to vulnerable individuals, both in free society and prisons, where discrimination and violence persist daily. George Michael's story symbolizes rising from adversity. He transformed pain into strength, healing himself while helping the LGBT+ community feel understood and supported. His life proves that even in darkest circumstances, there's always opportunity to rise, rebuild, and inspire others. Michael found freedom not just in music but in his soul, using that freedom to fight for a more equitable world. Number 5. While George Michael's struggle with substance dependency led him to prison in modern times, another LGBT+ icon faced an even harsher fate over a century earlier. Oscar Wilde's imprisonment in 1895 marked one of history's most notorious cases of legal persecution against the LGBT+ community. Oscar Wilde, the brilliant British writer and wit, faced a devastating fall from grace that exposed Victorian society's cruel treatment of LGBT+ individuals. In 1895, at the height of his literary success, Wilde was arrested and sentenced to 2 years of hard labor for gross indecency, the legal term used to criminalize same-sex relationships. In prison, Wilde experienced both physical and spiritual torment. The celebrated author of The Picture of Dorian Gray was forced to sleep on a wooden plank, perform grueling manual labor, and walk on a treadmill for hours. His status as an educated, refined gentleman offered no protection from the harsh prison conditions. Fellow inmates and guards taunted him mercilessly, seeing his sexuality as justification for additional cruelty. Despite the brutal conditions, Wilde's spirit remained unbroken. During his imprisonment, he wrote De Profundis, From the Depths, a long letter to his former lover, Lord Alfred Douglas. This powerful work wasn't just a personal correspondence. It was a meditation on suffering, love, and the price of living authentically in an intolerant world. Within its pages, Wilde transformed his pain into profound artistic expression. Upon release, Wilde emerged physically broken but intellectually defiant. Though society had attempted to shame him into silence, he refused to apologize for his identity. His final years in exile in France, though marked by poverty and social ostracism, produced some of his most honest writing about human sexuality and social hypocrisy. Wilde's imprisonment wasn't just a personal tragedy. It became a powerful symbol of LGBT+ persecution. His story highlights how the legal system was used to destroy lives simply for the crime of loving differently. Even after 100+ years, his experience remains a sobering reminder of the ongoing struggle for LGBT+ rights and the courage required to live authentically in the face of societal condemnation. Oscar Wilde's legacy transcends his brilliant literary works. He became an unwitting martyr for LGBT+ rights, his suffering exposing the cruelty of criminalizing love. Today, his story continues to inspire those fighting against discrimination, reminding us that the path to equality has been paved with the sacrifices of those who dared to be themselves. Behind these stories of pain and persecution lies a powerful message of resilience. The experiences of LGBT+ individuals in prison, from George Michael's candid revelations to Oscar Wilde's historic persecution, remind us that the fight for dignity continues even behind prison walls. These aren't just stories of survival. They're testimonies of the human spirit's capacity to find light in darkness. Whether it's through art like Wilde's De Profundis, or through advocacy like George Michael's later work, these individuals transformed their pain into purpose. Join us at Rainbow Spotlight as we continue to share these stories of courage and hope. Remember, every voice matters in the fight for equality and understanding, both inside and outside prison walls. Together, we can build a world where everyone's dignity is respected, regardless of who they are or whom they love.